0 to 10K. And this doesn't include, years of business failures and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In Scale System specifically, maybe 5-6 months.
And how much are you making right now?
Last month, approximately maybe 30 grand.
So a few months ago, I recorded a podcast with someone from the community who went from $0 to 10K a month with his sales agency, and he was only 22 years old. Now he's doing $30,000 a month using a very simple, effective system. He simply just got his first client, then a few more, did a good job, and now helps run their sales. So in this video, he's going to explain exactly how he did it. So enjoy. Hey Jesse, how you doing, my friend?
Good, brother. How are you, son?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
It's been a little while. Time moves fast, but, just try to stay in the moment and work as hard as you can every day.
Yeah, I know, man. For people that are watching this, Jesse, I believe we recorded like a podcast probably 4 months ago, and it was his first time he made like 10K a month. So the first question I want to ask you, and a lot of people would be asking, like they would wonder in the same thing, how long did it actually take you to go from 0 to 10K a month?
0 to 10K. And this doesn't include, years of business failures and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In Scale System specifically, maybe 5-6 months of consistent, solid work, isolating overseas, that sort of thing, like consistent work, 5-6 months.
5 to 6 months. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what were you doing during this 5 to 6 months to actually get you to that 10K a month?
Well, on the side of my life, I was also working a part-time job. So don't be afraid to work two things at the same time. You have to do that at the start. But in business, it was just a consistent routine that you have to follow every day, just doing the repetitive tasks consistently every day. And even still, that's something I'm trying to do today. Like, it's not something where you're easily just going to always do that. You just consistently have to try your best to actually get through your to-do list and finish all your tasks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. And how much are you making right now?
Last month, approximately maybe 30 grand.
30 grand.
Australian, because I'm Australian.
That's a big jump, man, from 10 to 30.
I know, but it comes with, a lot more work and a lot more opportunities opening up.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 22. I turned 22 in August.
22 years old, making 30 grand a month, man. That's excellent. That's like 30 grand. A lot of people are in like their 60s and they've never made that much money. How does that make you feel?
I know, but should you compare yourself to the bottom percentile? There's no positive in that. I'm just going to either one, get an ego, or two, think I'm accomplished something when really it's just the beginning. So you should look ahead at people heavy ahead of you in their journey. Like you, for example, and then I have, the people I look up to, Patrick David, Alex Hormozy, just the casuals always.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But like it's always a good thing to look up to people that are making more and like way accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, while also acknowledge that your work that you've done, you should be proud of it.
That is true. Yeah. You have to always be, grateful, but 100% you're correct.
Have you tried anything like any other communities before SSM, or like, have you tried Upwork or?
Yeah. So I've tried a heap of communities before SSM, many, like genuinely probably 10. I was consistently investing in different communities. And there's none that have been sort of the same level of value that SSM has been, because there's so much free content and there's so much consistent support, and the community is constantly chattering, starts actively responding. Again, no benefit for me to say that. I just prefer to be honest. You can join if you want, and I think you'll see the results for yourself if you just put in the work.
Of course, yeah. I mean, nothing in life comes easy, right? Certainly not like 30 grand a month, right? So did you like any sort of like Upwork or like setting automation or like?
Yes, I did. I was selling automations. I actually had a failed business before this where I was selling automations, and I just wasn't able to get a consistent revenue stream because it was just these one-time things. There was no ongoing value, like month after month. These businesses, they didn't even want to partner with us after you do proposal generator, you automate their back end, and then there's nothing else, and then you lose them. Whereas this is something where it's consistent. They need you reliant for a service every month, and also adds real value to the business, that's where you get a positive on both ends. It's a win-win.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, same here, man. Like, I was just freelancing on Upwork. I would make a month, I would be making, for example, $500. Next month is 1K. And next month, even less than that. I was trying to convince people they needed automation.
Yeah. You're forced to do that.
walk me through, like, how did you get your first clients? Like, what did you sell? How did you find them? How was the conversation like?
Okay, so my first client was in the software industry. Now, first client, again, I just had outreach going consistently. You get responses if you just have highly effective copy and you land in the inbox. Hopefully you can be around a consistent 2% upwards. The higher, the better. If you find an industry where you really do well, 9-10% zone in on that industry like I've been doing. But yeah, just had a response, jumped on a call, explained to the owner. I think at the start, don't be scared to do guarantees. I did 100% guarantee where if they didn't get the results, I would just pay them back the amount plus reimburse them all of my infrastructure. So really it was a no-brainer for them, which I don't think you should be afraid of that. Worst comes to worst, you're going to give this company all of your work and you learn a great lesson. So that's what I did for my offer.
Yeah, and you've managed to deliver for them?
Yeah, I managed to deliver for them. So they were a client for about 5 months.
5 months. And what was the actual LTV in terms of like cash collected?
So totally it was, above 6,000 US.
6,000 US. So the first client, 6,000 US?
That was over the entire period, yes.
Entire period.
It really does have the opportunity. If you provide value ongoingly, the months stack up as long as you continue to provide value. And once it's set up, it's not like a whole heap of work. It's all automated. The whole thing, it's a system. You're just the one controlling the system. And once you have that set up, it's a highly effective way to use your time because it's high leverage. And that's what everyone needs to be doing at the end of the day, is using AI for these high leverage tasks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you got your first client. After that, what was the next step?
Next step, deliver results for them, but just continue outreach and continue looking for more clients, more opportunities. But not only that, also outside of business, just continue to develop yourself, set tasks in your personal life, hobbies that you want to sort of achieve. And then as you achieve those, you're also building constant confidence in yourself.
So you essentially just set up the system the first time, got your first client, kept delivering, kept your outreach, because it's a big mistake people do.
Yeah, they get satisfied, but it's hard because same thing with me. You're going to go through it. You get a little bit satisfied. You got to try to shut that down as quick as possible and just get back in the zone working, because it's just a response all of us have as humans. We just straight away, we think, okay, we've achieved something, but you haven't. You really got to be fearful of that mindset because it can trap you and you can end up, wasting time being lazy if that happens.
So in your experience, how many clients you needed to get to 10K a month? Because a lot of people are going to be like, how many clients do I need to get to that 15K a month?
3 to 4. That's all you need. You don't need hundreds of clients. If they're high ticket and you're providing real value, 3 to 4, so it's very achievable. It's just, are you going to provide actual value to them? Because if not, they're going to leave you, of course. They're not going to pay for something if there's no value. So if you can find 3 to 4 clients in the same niche, in similar niches, and just provide decent results for them where it's justifiable, the value you're providing, that they're going to pay. And then you can get to 10K a month.
What is one specific thing that actually helped you close your first deal from SSM? Wonder it.
One specific thing?
Yeah.
I guess one thing that you brought up a lot of the time was just at the start of the call, getting more to the price and being more transparent about it. So I went to the start. I'm not going to keep them on a 3-hour call and then at the end reveal the price where they're ready to go. Bring it up early, be very transparent. This is our pricing, but then explain, show a case study, show results. If you don't have that, show clear evidence why you're going to get those results, show a game plan. And if you come very professional, people are going to say, okay, it looks good.
What would you say to people who say, I don't have a case study?
You don't have a case study. Your case study is your work ethic, and a case study is the preparation you do beforehand the meeting.
Yeah, because a lot of people are going to be like, I don't have social proof. Like, how can they trust me?
Yeah, it makes sense. That's why I believe at the start guarantees are essential, because why would they trust you? You have to think in their situation. They're going to take a chance on you. It has to be low risk, high reward. Like it has to make sense in their mind.
If you had to speed up the process, let's say you're back at $0 and you wanted to get to 10K a month as fast as possible, what would you do?
If I wanted to get to 10K a month as fast as possible, I would probably number one move would just be consistent every single day, making sure I'm using my time effectively, because there's always things to do on your to-do list. And if there's not, you've got to think again, how can this be improved? How can this be improved? Is this performing at maximum capacity? And yeah, if you just dedicate time to it every single day consistently, you will succeed. The more consistent you are, the faster you'll succeed.
In terms of like systems, now you do systems in place, right? By the way, thank you for sharing that in the community.
Yeah. I prefer everyone else gets the value, because if I've spent months and months building this, taking all my time, working hard, and I can just, almost, what's the word, fast track other people just straight to it. It just saves them a lot of time and a lot of pain because it's all the hurt that I went through, hours and hours of nights and nights grinding all the back ends out. And then just to be able to get everyone else sort of on that level immediately, it's just a massive stepping stone. And there's always stuff like that happening in the community. You know what I mean? Everyone's always they're just so the opposite of selfish. They're selfless instead. Most communities you see it's selfish. This one's selfless. Everyone gives away their stuff. And it's just almost like a team sort of feel, which I really appreciate. And I think that comes from the top, you being so transparent and giving everything away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I actually posted 1.5 years of client fulfillment for free in the community.
Wow. That's really, really good. Well, that's what breeds this sort of this mindset. And this is why everyone operates the same way.
Yeah. When they see they're like, Saad is sharing everything, I'm going to share everything too.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's what I sort of thought. I just thought, oh, well, if I've got something that can be helpful, and I get people texting me all the time in school, thank you so much for those automations. They're so helpful. So no problem, of course. Glad it helped. If you need any other help, let me know.
What would you say to someone who is stuck at $0 and maybe watching this, probably been watching this channel for a long time and they're still on the fence and they're wondering kind of like, what is the hack to get to 10K?
The hack? There's no hack to life. There's no hack. It's just hard work, honestly. If they put in the work every single day for weeks, it will happen. If they act like they're putting in the work, Alex Hormozi has this quote I really like. He says, you try to get away with what you think is enough work instead of actually doing the work and being proud of the work you've actually done. So you judge yourself on your results, because if you judge yourself on the work you've done, you're going to be embarrassed. You've done such little work, but the little results you've got, you get excited about and you praise yourself about. But realistically, you just need to always get back to the basics and get back to work. So I think that's just the best advice, honestly.
I mean, it took you 5 or 6 months to get to 10K a month. It takes you 8 years to become a doctor to make 10K.
Yeah, we're just saying this takes much longer. So it's the same thing everyone says. You have 8 years of study. You can condense it down to 6 months, work very, very diligently every single day consistently. And you use all that time. You shorten the time, you get more in your life now. So this is why people who are rich, they live a high quality of life because they've condensed all the years of poverty and struggle really, really quickly. And now they get to experience the highest form of life, which is sort of what we're trying to do.
I want to ask you, I believe you niche down to the solar industry, right?
Yeah, exactly right. That's something I saw a lot of results in a specific industry. As soon as I saw that, niched 100%.
So do you recommend people that are watching this to go for the solar industry?
I recommend it's not necessarily the solar industry, although that definitely can have results. But at the end of the day, I recommend that you pick something that's going to work for yourself. You don't just immediately copy the crowd and be upset when you do the same thing that was working 3 months ago isn't working. You just have to be innovative. You need to think, where can I push the boundaries here? And as soon as you do that, you're going to see results. And I found the industry, I just saw my reply rates were a lot higher. It was a lot better for me. I was getting better results for my clients as well. So I just zoned in on that industry. And that's how it sort of goes. But I ended up going into the solar industry as I had a couple of solar clients that I was delivering commercial leads for. But I had one client in particular, ended up working for them. Then that became working for another company. And eventually now I've ended up at a company I'm quite happy for, one of the top, actually the top company in Australia at the moment. And yeah, I'm just selling for them as a sales rep, and opportunities like this open up. It's a skill that you learn for life. That is a skill for life. You can use that wherever you want. So it's not just in your business. You've also now got that life skill and that extra ability. So I think you're investing in more than just your business. You're investing in a skill for your life. Sales is a big thing everywhere, just like sales in emails, sales normally. And it's just a big part that you can add to your arsenal right now. And I think for the value you provide, it's a no-brainer.
So basically the roadmap is that you got the client in the solar industry, you're delivering for them, and then eventually now you're in their sales process.
Yeah, 100%. Well, going through a couple companies since that point, more or less, yes. And anyone can do the same in any industry.
Yeah, that's a really, really smart roadmap, man. Yeah, it's actually amazing. Really proud of how far you've become, man. I know you now for a year.
Little while, hey.
Yeah, and it's crazy how far you've become.
You just, I don't know. You can still go a lot further though. Definitely can't get too excited.
Looking back, right? Was SSM worth the investment?
Of course, It's a very obvious question. Is that some worth the investment? First things first, any education is worth the investment in yourself. But SSM, it was actually the peak level of online digital education because I've been in 10 different communities. It easily ranks as the top. Again, no bias because it's not like I don't even receive $1. I pay to be in the community. And I still say that because that's just, I prefer to be completely honest, completely transparent. You can come in if you want to see for yourself. If you don't want, no problem at all. It's just sort of, we can only be honest about the situation. More than worth the investment, 100%.
A lot of people that are watching this channel, I believe I can say that some of my audience, some are probably could be beginners. Others would be probably making like 1 to 2K, maybe even more than that. How would you help them, right? Instead of me saying it based off your experience.
Well, it all comes down to the foundation, which is, are your actions consistent on a daily basis? Because you can't expect a consistent MRR if your actions aren't consistent. If you're slacking off here and there, which again, I've fallen victim to, and I just continually try to improve. But you have to have your actions, and those actions should be a to-do list in business, your personal goals. And if you're doing all of those consistently, you should get a consistent MRR. And if it's not happening, reassess after 3 months, look at what you've done wrong, look at what you can improve, and go again for the next 3 months. And again, if it takes 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, you've done what a doctor takes 8 years, and you can do it in that period. So it's well worth your time condensing that work and making the most of the opportunity.
What's your daily routine look like now?
It's interesting. I got a calendar that I sort of follow. This morning was a bit different. So I woke up and went gym immediately at 5:45 this morning. Then I get home, massage gun, roll, stretch, then just straight into solo appointments, team meetings, then Echo AI work, which is my business specifically, then piano, reading, and then eating another meal, going to bed. And that's all it is. It's just work. The whole day, if you saw it, was broken down into subtasks. I think everyone should do that though. I think it's really, really helpful. So everyone should do that.
If you would just give me 1 to 2 high level tasks that are conducive to 99% of your income.
For me personally, study sales. For me personally, and educate yourself consistently, because sales is a skill which is going to benefit you in so many different facets of life. Because sales is everything. Sales is communication. It's the skill of communication, and you're communicating 24/7 every day with everyone else around you. So it's a great thing to learn. I think everyone should learn it.
Yeah, I think this is the reason why I included the sales training Friday.
And listen, when you're starting, you should be in those every single week. When I was starting, before I even made 10K, and even now that I made 10K, but you should be in there every single week at the start, because that sort of resources and that sort of value, that's going to skyrocket your growth. Wow. And that's substantial. That's a lot. I don't know many communities that can claim that. How many can?
Just in member wins, it's like $500,000. And I have the tracking.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it every day. You don't need to tell me. I see it every day.
I actually have that in Google Sheets every single time a member posts I made 3K, 4K, 2K, 1K. I just log into a Google Sheets.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's going to keep stacking up. And I guess that would just show truly the data. You can't argue with the data. Can't argue with exactly how much people have made.
So I got just one last question for you, my friend. For people that are watching this, maybe are there in the fence and they're like, okay, this is all sounds great and cool, but I just don't have the confidence to do this. Maybe I feel like I'm not just built for it. I feel like I'm going to lose money if I go in and start my own sales agency. What would you say? What would you tell them?
Depends how deep do you want to go. You can say, this is one thing I try to always imagine. It's very deep, but I think it's very beneficial, is you just have to be very aware of the fact that one day you will be on your deathbed and you will be looking back in your life thinking, did I accomplish what I truly wanted to accomplish? Or did I hold back and limit myself to the full capacity of my potential throughout life? And if you really have these goals you want to achieve, and it would heavily sting to get to your deathbed and not have achieved them, if that pain is higher than the pain of getting up every day and doing the work, then you're going to succeed. If it's not, and that's not truly what you want, you won't put in the work. So you got to really think, what do you want? Do you want to be on your deathbed, not having achieved anything? Or do you want to have everything you've done? You put your word to it. You gave 100%. And that's something everyone battles with every day. But the better you can do there, I think the more successful you'll be. So that's a bit deep, but I think it's a good piece of advice.
So what are your next steps in the next 6 months?
Next 6 months depends. At the end of the day, I just really want to make sure I have a high level of consistent income. As long as that's consistently coming in, investor streams of income should consistently be improving. put a lot of work in, develop myself personally with what I want to do on the side, with my hobbies, learning languages, instruments, that sort of thing. My next step is just to continue to grow my income. I think that's the long-term play. If you're thinking really next 20-year landscape, which you have to think because that's how all the big thinkers, all the real business people are thinking. So if you can get in that mindset, it really helps. But yeah, that's what my next steps would be. Just continue to put in the work, try to increase my income. Let's say if I'm not making at least 10K a week by the time we speak next, I'm going to feel like I've severely underperformed my potential because I feel like I should continue to grow. 6 months, not a crazy amount of time, but that's what my goal would be.
Yeah, but I can definitely show you some ideas in terms of like scale.
Well, that's value that's always appreciated. All right, all the best, Saad.
See you soon.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
Bye-bye.